Khan, I don't know, I can make. I'm too tired. I don't know, I cannot make it. I think so. And then
this is like the transition. Before that, for me, what happened, like he was there. I could just feel his presence, and sometimes it was just like let's say I was just throwing a ball at him, and he was like bouncing it back.
This is the Birth Agni podcast, the fire that brings us alive, that burns myths and opens a channel of authentic natural birth stories. This show debunks the many myths of the medicalized births, showcases the plethora of choices a pregnant couple can make to embark on their empowered birth journey. I'm Divya Kapoor, a certified birth and lactation counselor and an aspiring traditional birth attendant. Let's get the flames blazing high. Hello, today we have two beautiful people, inside out, Sara and Khan. One of the things that I love about them is the energy they exuberate and the self-effacing quality that they have. Completely grounded. They chose to free birth in the world of women normalizing cesarean sections for each other for the lack of better examples. Let us hear their story of home birth as an example of owning your power and ability to give birth, and as partners, being able to support each other in this beautiful journey of parenthood. And then, when you became pregnant, how did you decide on home birth?
Okay, so for me, it was like all very intuitive. So we just moved to a new place, like our home now, in June 2020. And in July, mid-July, we found out that I was pregnant.
Yeah.
And for me,
So that was positive, we have both had a COVID.
Yeah, we had both COVID, and I found out because I didn't get my period. I found out that I was pregnant. So we were joking. He was laying in bed. He was very not well, and I had just like a flu, 24 hours, no problem. And I said, okay, I'm double positive. So we were laughing a bit about
What you mean?
Were you scared at first because of COVID and?
No.
No.
There's already this is bullshit. We already speak about it. So
Yeah, it was just the flu, and we didn't even like go scared and be like, oh my God, it's COVID. It was just because he was not feeling very well for a long time. So I just went also and I was like, okay, I'm positive also.
Yeah.
And then anyway, that's another topic that we're not going to go into today, but it's also another thing which actually, whatever happens to you through your state of pregnancy in any kind of, let's say, health-related issue, which is about, like viruses, bacteria, it's actually strengthening your immune system and the baby's. So this should actually not be like something that you should be scared about. Yeah. And actually, I think it's something you should work through in the beginning. Yeah. Because otherwise you will be scared of everything later on. So the pregnancy for us was just like, it's a huge preparation of something which will come on that day. Actually carrying out all these things is just like I said, it's a preparation to see how emotionally and intuitive fit you are, and where are your boundaries, like how far can I reach in this beautiful adventure. Free birth, like if you really want to do it, you can do it. And then I just felt in this house. I said to him, I said, I didn't even know where this thought came from or where this feeling came from, because I never thought I was going to be pregnant. Like, it was never a part of my agenda in this life. It felt like there was never an urge for me as a female. This is the truth.
Yeah, the time we meet, we talk about it, and she said, I don't know, I want a baby. I'm like, okay. Then all happens.
Yeah, you just need to be very open, I think, for anything. I mean, like, even me, I was like, okay, this is nothing that I wanted in my life. Okay, I'm just going with it. And I just told him, I was like, I want to give birth in the house. And at that moment, I didn't even know what it meant. I was like, what does that mean? I was not looking at any podcast or anything, about the birth, So I was like, okay, I just knew it.
Yeah, then I think what you mean, you want to making birth in the home. So it means I have no clue, I have no idea. Means I know this natural birthing, and they have I know heard about lots, but not really doing yourself alone. And yeah. Then in the beginning we look at a few places to do a natural birth centers. We look around, but then we don't find not really wow somewhere we're making to go. And then Sarah told me we're doing home. What do you think about it? Then we speak to one of our friends that also done it. So we spoke to them. Then they give some contact to us, and then we speak to I speak to him also myself, and she also speak to her. And then we find this lady from Delhi.
Tapasya.
Tapasya, yeah. And then, yeah, from that is the beginning. I'm like, I don't know what this is. And then start talking to her, so making it strong, making it like, oh, wow, I have no idea anything about this, like, yeah, it's this crazy thing, Yes.
Did you have anybody in your families who had birth at home?
Maybe my grandfamilies, yes, I think so, yes. But we all, my mom, dad, we all born in a home, not home in the hospital. Yeah, but all natural birth, any cesarean or nothing like that. So natural birth but in a hospital. So yeah, yeah.
And my family also, like in Sweden, like that's what I felt like it was really like connecting to the spirit of India, where I thought that I was going to be met with, like, wow, you want to do something which is, like I know happened in this culture. I mean, we have friends and like around like 30 years old, and okay, the mother just gave birth in the kitchen like this, so it's like not it's not it's it's heard of, let's say. It's not like science fiction. In Sweden it would be a little bit more like, oh wow, it's like you should go into the hospital and do this. So I thought there was going to be like a more open experience about it here. Like you could, like I was looking, actively. We were even like, okay, let's see if there is like a doula or midwife, from the grassroots here, because we know that it existed, like let's say 50, 60 years ago. We were actively looking for this, and then we found out that even in this society at this moment, there is no openness for this. There is nobody you can speak to, and if you speak to people about your experience of what you want to do, they really put you down. So after a while, we just had to shut down all our efforts of actually bringing out joy in the birthing experience, let's say, because this is really what it became to be. And we just had to shut up.
So you're saying that, yeah, that when you explain people about your experience, people were more scared even after the birth than being joyous with you.
And like many people are, few of my friends are really, like they appreciate so much, and also people like something happened. I'm like, man, don't think about this. I know you believe yourself and you trust each other, and be mentally think about it. Even one bit of it, the night it happened when it started happening, I don't think about nothing. It was a very special night. I was on fasting, and I completely give her to space.
It's a space where it's really sacred in between the feminine and the masculine when you decide to do something like this, and you have to like sort of create a space where you can't have this input of what we were speaking about before, of people coming in and saying what they want, or like, because it has nothing to do with your story. And I think it's very important, not only in childbirth, in any stage of your life, not to listen to people.
Yeah.
Because they make you confused. They have their own tainted reality of how they live life, which is fine, but it's their life. But I was like guided, and this is what I know now, but that would have been seen as confusion otherwise, because I was confused by others. So you need to just be strong.
Yeah, beautiful. And then, how were you guided, Sarah? What were the signs that you?
So like during, like, you mean during the actual like birth?
The pregnancy, you were guided home, but
Yeah, it was just like, for me, I was just, like I said, closing out all these people, which were anyway just making but not only for me confusing, they were making themselves confused more than anything. And I was just like, okay, close them out. I make my space. And, like, it's like, like you put a candle every day on your altar with your gods or whatever you have, this you have to do for yourself every day. You have to meet yourself there somehow and just like reset everything. Maybe some people will do meditation.
And we just had the classes, and we've been mentally ourselves strong, trust each other.
So childbirth classes really helped you in
Yeah, yeah, really,
really.
really. She's helped us a lot, and especially for me. And I don't know anything about it. She's told how to things, how they're happening, or if you have a difficult time, I should do it like this. And if you get tired, you should do it like that. So everything.
Right. So, when you prepared with the childbirth classes, you prepared for the emergency situations also,
Yeah,
like
yeah,
having
yeah. We had
feeding.
all the homeo medicines, and I have all this. We are all bleeding more than enough. She told everything, and then we prepare all the medicine. If you have more than half liters of bleeding we have, and then you should to rush to the hospital, or the baby come at that time. And then if you're not coming out, then she told me some tips into go to your fingers, so maybe the blocking your elbows and all the stuff. So the
Okay.
belly is not really properly open it, you can go with the hands. And then yeah, she told everything, and if not really coming at a certain time, then into emergency to hospital. Otherwise you don't need it. And so, and then even myself in my childhood is my village always have a birthing happening. So means that we had the ladies working there. I know this means they come also. These ladies always come after birth. So they come off, take care of the baby, they give shower, and they give oil massage. It's all things we had. It's not long time
Yeah.
ago, and I'm not that old. Then suddenly this all things stopped. It's no more. It's hard to find all this.
I think this is where they break this bound between the male and the female.
Yeah.
Okay, so even in the hospitals that you will go in and the male is not really presented there, he's like, I guess in India, I'm not sure, like the men will also come to these checkups,
Yeah.
but they're actually not paving the way for the couple to come together. That's what we felt.
Exactly.
They were just like, they were making the distance even longer because the man doesn't have, of course, he was very intuitive in our case of birth. He was like following me blindly with this also sort of intuition. But they are actually feeding the fear of the men
Yeah.
and the women
Yeah.
in both different ways.
Yeah.
And they are just like, going, okay, this is what we need. Oh, we are scared of this, we are scared of that. So they are just doing their own thing.
Yeah.
They are just doing that agenda of just, conquer and divide and continue like that. We put more fear in here. They can, like just dictate whatever they want to do. And there is no freedom at all.
Yeah. How was your experience in particular with the doctor?
Yeah, like, okay, so the first time I meet this doctor, so we were in a quite because I had a tourist visa in India. The COVID thing was sort of, slowing down. So India until then had been really kind to all of the foreigners and giving us an extension on the visa. At that point, they were sort of telling people to, okay, it's time to leave. You should, go out of the country. And then I became pregnant. So I had to go through things simultaneously, a visa process with the Indian immigration. And for that new, let's say, visa status that I was going to obtain, I needed to have a health checkup because I was pregnant. So I needed to have all the documentation from the hospital. So I sort of went in there with an open heart and I said, okay, I just need this, and that. And of us, even if this woman, she was quite okay in the beginning because I was really firm with her and I said, okay, we don't need you. I'm going to go and I'm going to do the things which I think is okay to do. I'm not going to have all the checks you are saying. Since I was over 35, they were like, oh my God, this is a high risk pregnancy. And I was like, no, it's not. And I said, I feel fine. But they don't listen to that. And then they start with their tests and you're like, it's blood tests. So I said, okay, I'm going to do that. And everything comes out really good, They were like, wow. And I was like, yeah, I take care of myself. And especially now, and I think I actually told her also, I said, it's very important also, for the relevancy of these tests, how the people are like, if they're stressed, the values will automatically go down. So if you're not in a stressful environment, so I said, I will not come back here. First, I said, I don't like hospitals, and it's the truth. So we just came back, and I chose exactly like he said. He was like, I want to go and do this. I just want to see that the baby is, like not breech when we were like on 36 weeks there. And I was like, I don't want to. I know I feel him because I knew. And that's why, like you as a couple also have to meet, because I can be very stern and I can be like very, I know. But on the other hand, you have to like meet up, because we live in this we live in this reality of, okay, the hospital is an integrated part in childbirth. Okay, so I had to do my thing for just get myself into a medical visa here. So I did that, but that's it. Then I didn't conform to anything, any test, like this test about, giving you, like testing if you have prenatal, what do you call it, diabetes or something. Yeah. I mean, it's literally dangerous for you to do it. If you just inform yourself, they're literally giving you sugar. I mean, not like even, let's say, okay, they are giving you a complex sugar, which is really bad for the fetus. I mean, it's really bad for, right? Yeah. So I think it's also like you really have to inform yourself, like I said, any stage of life, but especially when you're carrying another human being inside of you.
Yeah. I'm really happy my wife to put on listening to learn all this stuff, It's like, it's incredible. And then what exactly doing, you need to, even whatever they say, you need to double check everything,
And how they write it is very peculiar, because they were not writing the baby for sure is an they call it IURG, no? Interuterine growth restriction, no? And I was not even familiar with this term. I was like, but what is this? And then I was really sad when he spoke to me. It became anger. Yeah. Because I was like, why are you doing this to me? Like, I am happy. That's why, like, you really have to be strong in every aspect, because the further you go through it, like, also, like all women know, the further you go towards your due date or your guest date, yeah, you actually become even more, sensitive, yeah, like in every aspect. So that was really hard for me to just see that. It really feels like you're in the butcher's office, they're just like, okay, now we take you here, now you do like this. And they thought I was just like, okay, this is the box, we put you in here, and then you come back, and on one Thursday in 1 week, in 2 weeks, we're going to do that. We are going to give you a C-section. And I was like, no way. And then when I calmed myself and, I looked and I informed myself a little bit more, and I actually started to deal with these doctors like you're bargaining in the shop, about the money. And I was like, hey, this is actually not how it's working. I said, I will go to another institution and I will have another. This was just, I wouldn't have done that anyway, but this is how I had to do it. I had to really, go in there and
tell her.
meet her. Yes. Yeah. And this shouldn't have to be done. Like, I had to regain myself, my center, and then I had to investigate, and then this is, I understand that this is not for everybody to do like this,
Then I've been standing strong. I said, what do you believe me? Go for that. Don't think about all things. Then we talked to our Dullah, we had a class with it. We discussed with her also. He said, no problem. The weight and the babies is fine. The time. We have more time, and they'll be okay. And he born perfectly fine.
Yeah. The hospital said, in the end of the day, they're just offering you like a C-section, and I mean, yes, of course, it's an emergency procedure, but they're offering it to everybody. I said, that can't be right. That day when she saw us, when our son is born 1 week after, and she saw us and she was like, I mean, that's a teaching with no words needs to be said, because you could see everything in her face. Yeah. Everything. Yeah. She was just like, wow.
Yeah. And really, she really shocked, and I'm like, I can see she's happy also, but the point of it, and
It's good she was happy. She wasn't offended. She was happy.
Yeah, she's happy. She's happy. She's not offended. She's not. This is not at all. This is not her choice.
Yeah, I think this is also like the calling for the male audience that will listen to this really is that, I mean, like now I'm speaking for him, but it's like you can do it. Like you can face whatever there is. Like you will ask, okay, but what in the case of emergency? Yeah, well, in the case of emergency, yes, there is the hospital if you will reach to that point. But all the parts before that, all the 9 months before you reach up to this critical state of this, let's say, whatever, how many hours it is, it's depending on, like whatever, depending on the woman and, like when the child want to come and everything. You just have to focus on that. And if you are not putting in your positive thoughts and your energy into believing in that this can happen, well, then you're not giving space for it. So all this, the man has to be there. Like I told him afterwards, I was like, you are my rock. So the man has to just become a rock, a solid rock, and be there because there's going to be a lot of strange things, like which the woman is going to ask for. And so you just have to be there. And that's it.
Yes. So take us to the time when the labor started. How did you guys feel then? How did you prep up?
You actually knew more. Like he had more of a nesting part than I had.
Yeah.
So maybe I was swimming in the morning the same day. He's born the next day. But yeah, in the morning I went to my ritual swim. I was out with, going out, having maybe some juice, and then I came back home, and then he was like starting to nest. He was like going out buying things, and I was like, no. I said, normally, like it's even before his guest date. I was like, no way, he's coming, like. And that afternoon, it was starting to happen, I think, and I couldn't really put a word or like a framework around it. And I told him, I was like, I had this strong like cramp, and he's like, okay, so what's that? And I was like, I have no idea. And it didn't come back, until the evening when it was like super intense.
And then, then you have friends over, then friends gone, then you plan to go movie, and then...
Oh, we did. They came like around 9 o'clock.
Yeah.
And I remember because they were here, and it was Easter Sunday.
Yeah.
And they were here, and they went back to Cochin.
It's a Saturday. Sunday is...
it's the Saturday. Yeah,
Sunday
it's the Saturday, yeah.
Born,
And...
You had friends over.
Yeah. So they were like, okay, fine. How do you feel? I was like, yeah, good. And when they were here, I had to go to the bathroom, and that's when I had like one of these very intense cramps, and I was like, oh my God, like something is happening. So we just went out, and I didn't tell anything to anybody at that time. I was just like, okay, but I could feel like something is really happening now. So they left, and then we started to look at Lion King.
Yeah. I talked to
her. So I was just going, and I told him before, I was just like, Khan, I'm going into a place where probably you are not going to be able to reach out to me. But I said, I will make sure that whatever information you need to have, and I said, just, you have to be there for me.
Yeah.
Like, I don't even know what's going on. Like, I'm just going completely into myself. I knew that was like, the sort of contraction, the sort of that calling for me was like, okay, it's a time to just go inwards and listen to yourself and all the exterior parts. This is why you need a man or somebody by your side, for me, at least for the first time. Maybe then you can do it alone, at least I'm not sure. But for us, it was like I had this right hand who was just like dealing with all the mundane things of taking care of, okay, if I needed to drink something. He had all the list of the homeopathic medicines which Tapasya helped us with. He had the music rolling. Like he had all this connection on this plane of reality where I was going straight in to this like sort of negotiation of bringing Zion over, because that's what I was doing. It's like it's a hallucinogenous trip. Like you are going to the other side. You are going to a place where you are just so connected with everything. Like I never been closer to God than that night, you know, like he's there. And I'm very thankful that I had like this experience of going so deep into myself, being so connected with whatever chemical reaction with hormones that are happening inside your body. You are letting your mind completely be wild and free like it should be. I was becoming an animal. So we are laughing about this now because I was, like I said, I was not reachable. I was just roaming around everywhere, standing, making sounds, you know, like just sometimes even he said I was like complaining. I was like, why you give me all these rides? Like, you know, because, you know, like all this system is like, you know, like under high pressure, you know? I was like, oh, I would like to go and, you know, like to the bathroom now. And, you know, like I can't because you give me all this.
Yeah.
There's no time to argue or fight. I'm like, you know, it's like this. And I mean, she had every 5 minutes, she had a contraction, you know, like it's I'm really like, she always coming very quick, very quick. Yeah, and then we had a poolside. We made a small poolside in the room area, you know. You put it one side with warm water. She can lie down, you know. And yeah, we had everything. She got rising sometimes there, sometimes in the toilet, sometimes in the bed, sometimes in the floor. I'm like, you know, she's going crazy. One time I told her, you know, I don't see her. And where she go? I look everywhere. And she's standing in the kitchen. And I'm like, yeah, it's crazy, yeah.
What were your thoughts then? What were you thinking when she was going everywhere?
No, I just tell her to do this. It's be like this. I don't know. I mean, I've experienced this. I think it's like this. So anything you need, she definitely tell me. And I wait for this moment. Means I give her completely space, observing and just looking around, you know, see how it's go everything. And one point she said, like after 6 7 hours, I told her also, Khan, I don't know, I can make. I'm too tired, and I don't know, I can make it. I think so. And then
this is like the transition. Before that, for me, what happened, like he was there. I could just feel his presence, and sometimes it was just like let's say I was just throwing a ball at him, and he was like bouncing it back, you know, because I needed to. There was also like a little bit of, you know, like not frustration, but it's like a lot of things happening in your body, you know. So even if it is divine, it's just like sometimes you come back to reality and you're like, okay, I have to deal with this, you know. And every contraction is like, for me, it was like a waterfall coming through my body. So it's like this immense force of energy, let's say, because it's not physically water, and it's coming through your body, and it's actually this which is calling through. So a contraction is not something contracting. That's why I don't like this word. It's actually a sort of expansion.
Opening.
Like, exactly, it's preparing you on all level, mental, physically, spiritually, like on all your levels, it's preparing you for delivery. So I guess the more you have, let's say, prepared yourself before, the easier it will come through. Hence, like maybe some women, they just go in and they're like, okay, I just, you know, I give birth very quick. Like they say, the second time can be very quick because you already been through this. But the things that I saw is like the body is working in such an amazing way. So I can say for my part, there is no pain in childbirth. Yes, because you're not letting yourself completely go. Because if you are in your pain body and you are living there, of course you will only feel it there. But since I was like, you know, completely all over the place and going where I had to go, I didn't just have an impact on one level of physical reality, which is, you know, we are talking about going out there. We are getting a soul, whatever you believe in soul, but this is a part where I think the Indian, you know, many people will listen and they will be like, yes, this is, you know, like it's a soul. The vehicle we only forged in this body, you know, and of course the soul has, you know, like we actually did a ritual together with friends, like the naming of the baby and all these things, no? So I think in the yogic tradition, maybe it's around the 7th month or something like this. They say that the soul permanently come and they reside in the body, like the mother forged. And I think this is just, like the last part of just like, for sure, bringing over this, like, so the soul has also, what I felt, it has to go through its own, and I have to go through my own story, and then there we meet, and in all this, let's say, all this havoc and confusion and whatever, like, because it's not linear anymore there, like time doesn't exist. It's just like being in that heavenly space of connection, and yeah, like I said, no spiritual practice could, like give me that sense of really connecting to what we are in the end of the day. Because in the end of the day, yes, you go over to the other side and you connect to God, and then you realize that, okay, I am God. Like, I'm bringing over a part of God which is coming towards me, and I am a part of that. Like, you don't see the separation at all in this moment. Like for me, that was just the teaching, and you have to believe that your body knows exactly what to do.
Yeah.
So actually, the women are very fortunate because we have a chance to actually go in and see this, and having, like I said, this rock by your side, which is your man. You need that. You need that for just balance out. If you are not, like, let's say 7, 8 babies, and they said the woman just go to the field and she's popping it out. Yes, amazing. Like, I would like to do that if I had another chance in nature,
And the times.
It's not just like a coincidence. Why is it 9 months? Because you have 9 months to connect with yourself. Like, we need this time. We are, like, we have to like give up on all these things of like, okay, I stopped to listen to society, then I stopped maybe even listen to friends, even to family. Like, I couldn't even tell my family in Sweden that I was embarking on this journey, because I knew that would not be beneficial for us. And I also, like, I knew that whatever will happen is what's going to happen. So I was never worried about like this emergency. Yes, okay, the emergency is there. It's just one point.
Right. And when you embrace the process, when you are surrendering to the process, the emergencies are far less than when you interfere with the flow, like you were saying. So if the process, natural process is disrupted, you're increasing the chances of emergencies.
Yes, and I think this is also, like he was just like he said, he was just like observing me. He was letting me go around with all my crazy stuff in the end of the day, because we also had, when he found me that time in the kitchen, you remember, that was actually partially my sac, or the sac of Siam was just, it was like erupted, but only partially. So I had so I had a sac residue hanging out from my yoni, and I was like walking around like this, and he's like, "Oh my God, what's that? Is that a prolapse cord?" Because that's also, like we knew that is an emergency. So, like we had everything very clearly. I was like completely not there, but I just felt something. I was like, okay, what is this? Like, what's happening?
And I just check it, and also in the construction time, the surrounds and white things come out. They're sealed kind of thing, it's open to this. Then it's come like this, like some kind of tissue,
So that's why it's important that you learn also, I think. So you are like, this is actually part of the process. Okay, it's not going to be like in the textbooks, but this could be that. So he like, okay, it's not a problem. So I was still roaming around with this thing hanging out of me and And when I reached to this point, it was like around 5 o'clock, I guess, in the morning. I had like all this night from like, I think, contractions starting to happen around 11. Something like this in the evening on the Saturday, and at 5 o'clock I'm like completely exhausted because I've been like completely into this, and I'm like, that's like the first connection. I said, I'm really tired, like please help me something. So he was like giving me, he gave me like coconut water and this and that. He checked through the homeopathic medicine. He gave me like one pill or whatever, and this is also what I understood afterwards. I didn't really connect with it. That's the transition,
Yes.
Because before that, I've not been present. I've been like out there, and I'm coming home, and I'm going through the phase of transition. I'm coming back into my body, and I'm starting to feel what's happening there. I'm tired. Like at one point, I'm just like, please, I don't want to have the music anymore.
Yeah. I need to stop. I said, okay, stop.
I said, I want peace and quiet.
Yeah.
And I need to, like just be here.
Last 1 hour.
Last 1 hour. And I think I was in the pool, but I couldn't really feel like this was the place where I was gonna be. So I felt like I had no space. So I went out of the pool. I think I had a few more contractions probably, and then I just positioned myself in Malasana, as we all know. And
Squad position.
yeah, and from there it was just like I could feel that it's coming through, and it's like, I don't know, it's like when he was crowning, it's like it's just bigger than me. It's just like, I don't know, it's like somehow like something is covering me from the outside, like a big egg or something from the outside of me, but he's coming through me. And like I said also there, it's for me, it's more of a feeling and sensation of becoming, like just overtaking this. There was no pain. It's just like I'm extending my body to the maximum to facilitate the body coming through. And so it was, sort of, like I was screaming at that point. I remember I was like really, like just because I had, you also have to go into this mindset of just like being who you are, all the chakras of, I needed to go through here and just like, and this must have been like, he's born 6:42 in the morning. So I don't know exactly what time that been, but it went quite quick, I would say. No,
very quick, very quick. The last 6 days are very, very quick,
Yeah.
And earlier he said, honey can look. I'm like, his head is coming out, and slowly. And when it had come out, like in seconds, like 2, 3 seconds.
So dilation happened like
chain of 10, and then it's come out.
Yeah, quick. That was quick. So there wasn't crowning. It was crowning baby out and then turn.
Yeah,
not too long.
And always like I was in Malasana, and then when I could feel like his head is nearly crowning, then I go in on all four. And then I step into lounge pose. And that's when, like he's having all the view of these things happening. Like the head is coming out, the head is protruding, and he's catching him. I was like, by God, the first thing you see there also, it's like, it's for the father to be there and have this, it's been in the mother all this time. And then the father has this chance of, like being the first one. I mean, it should be like this. It felt so natural, And then we are just sitting on the side of the pool, And at that point also, when he was born, so I was partially erupted, in the amniotic sac bag there, and so he comes out partially veiled. So he had parts of the sac on his head,
inside,
on his head.
And we're looking, what is this?
Okay, so
it's off on it, then
So and then like everything went. We were never really focusing, like I said. It's just like you learn about everything, but he was just breathing. He was crying. He was breathing. Everything was fine. He was on my chest, feeling this love hormone in its greatest, like power. And we are just, like laying there all together. And then we slowly, from there, like Khan is like, let's move to the bed. Let's, have it more comfortable than laying on the floor. So we went to the bed, and we are just laying there literally, like to have this connection and just being there together as a family and having all the time in the world, let's say, to not have somebody telling you what to do, when to do it.
Placenta. How was the placenta born then?
So the placenta came. So we were in bed. We were just enjoying this, what they call the golden hour. For us, it was golden hours. And we were laying there, and it was actually me. I completely forget. Khan was the one who was like on the protocol, so he was like on the dot, but like he was like he had a good time frame of what's gonna happen. You know, me, I was just like relaxing.
Yeah.
So he was like, now it's time, you know,
Yeah.
to go, and you know, like the placenta needs to come out.
Yeah, like after half an hour, 45 minutes.
Yeah, no, probably more. Probably
1 hour.
1 hour, 2 hours, something like this.
No, 1 hour.
Okay. Yeah. Anyway.
Yeah.
So he's starting to be like, okay, so how are we going to do this? And so we decided to just, go all family to the bathroom. And and we were like,
Then have a small tray, and then just put on inside of the toilet, and just come, just like this.
Yeah, because I literally, I think you held Zion, no? So, yeah, and I was just on the toilet, and I was like, thank you, placenta, you have been amazing, serving us for this time, and plop, there she came.
Oh, you spoke to her. Ah.
Yeah, I spoke to her, and she immediately just like, okay, I'm going, you know, I'm okay, thank you. So I think that's very important. Like, I think it's, of course, there can be different, you know, ways of doing, but I think this like sort of gratitude, because it is, when you read about the placenta, it's like, wow, it's such an amazing, imagine our body is like doing an organ, like it's crazy. So I think this is, very important, just to, you know, like to really recognize it, and, you know, like she knows what to do, I think. I felt really like that. I felt the whole wisdom, and out she came, and beautiful, like this tree of life. We were like, wow, we had no idea.
It looked so crazy, you know. It's like it looked like the roots of the tree, you know.
It is called the tree of life. It is a tree.
Yeah. It's like it's like crazy. Like
in my language, it's called in Swedish, it's called moderkaka. So it's like the cake of the mother. So it's like
Wow, incredible. Did you have to push also?
No, don't push.
No.
Push nothing.
Like literally,
nothing.
They was
just come like this, and just have the class. That's what I said. And in the classes, they say like totally different thing. And she goes to sit there, and then suddenly they come out.
Yeah, I just thank you for being here. And like before I'm even ready, you know, like to say everything I wanted to say. It was like
then I'm just looking at no bleeding and nothing like that. So it's like normal. Yeah.
And
then I just look at it. Yeah. Then we go with this together on the bed again, you know, and it's a Zion. So the animal cord connect to the placenta, so you keep it for a long time. You don't cut it straight away.
Okay, you did not. Like a lotus bird. Like a lotus bird, kept it for long time.
Yeah.
But we kept it only for that night, so I think he was, it's like until the evening, so maybe 10 to the evening, then we were like, because here, Kerala is, like rest of most of India, it's very humid, very hot.
Yeah.
And if you want to do a lotus bird with these, you know, conditions, I think you really need a lot of like herbs, and you need a lot of, you know, like you need a good strategy, and for it to be very hygienic.
Yeah.
So we just, when the cord, you know, after like, let's say 14 hours, something like this, 15 hours, then we were like, okay, there's no more blood.
You come pure white. Yeah. Then he clip it both sides, and then he cut it. Yeah.
Even, you know, like for us, like even I forgot to tell you this, when Zion came out, like of me, we didn't even know he was a boy until like, you know, like I was like checking, like, does he have 10 fingers? Yes, all the toes. Yes, everything. And then I was like looking at it there, like 2 years, okay, And then after a while, we were like, okay, it's a boy.
Yeah.
So we were like completely like absorbed in that moment, and like we said, we had plans of like filming the birth of nothing.
You put a tripod, you put the cameras, you put a lot of things, but you forgot everything.
Yeah, we forgot everything. Yeah. Like
to take one pictures when he's born, then we took it, and that's it.
The first part of Sara and Khan's birth story comes to an end. Enrollments for the October childbirth classes are open. If you are interested, you can sign up by going to the website https://www.birthagni.com or book a discovery call with me. Thank you so much. Coming soon with part 2 of this beautiful story. There is a field beyond fear, where the body is empowered to take on labor and birth. To land there, it is crucial to take birth education. To enroll into our unique labor and birth preparation course, reach out to us at www.birthagni.com or scroll through all available prenatal and postnatal preparation classes. Thank you for listening, all in the spirit of birth, womanhood, and freedom. Remember, you got the power. This podcast is about physiological birth and does not offer or claim to provide medical knowledge or diagnosis.